All right, y'all. Hey, what's up, good people? I'm QC. Welcome to a brand new Talking and Grubbing live stream. How's everybody doing tonight? Hope all y'all doing good. I'm doing good. Definitely excited for some more NFL playoff football this upcoming weekend. And now we are on to the NFL Divisional playoffs, aka the Elite Eight. So there's still 8 teams here in this tournament. And we definitely got some great matchups here, this upcoming weekend. And it's crazy that on the AFC side, we got all the young QBs playing, in this round, while on the NFC side, we got the older QBs playing for the most part. AFC, three of the QBs that were drafted in the 2018 NFL draft are all playing this weekend. That's Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. Then on the NFC side, you got the old heads like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees playing. So I'm here to break down all these matchups tonight, give my predictions to let you know who I think will be playing on Championship Sunday next week. Let people know that I'm live so they can come on in. Also, if you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button. And also, if you're on YouTube, you can click that click the subscribe box, click that ding that notification bell, click all so you don't miss any new videos or upcoming live streams from me. Also, if you're watching on Facebook, make sure you like the page. Same with Twitch, make sure you follow the page. Like I said, we got some great matchups coming up here this weekend in this Elite Eight round. And it's crazy in this AFC divisional round. All the quarterbacks that are playing are under the age of 26. And guess who's the oldest quarterback that's playing in the AFC round? Baker Mayfield. That I didn't know. Baker Mayfield is the oldest QB playing this AFC divisional round this weekend. Miss Shalane said, hey, QC, how are you? I'm doing good, Miss Shalane. How you doing? Thanks for joining me. Just getting some things together. But that's just crazy how, this whole NFL divisional round is shaped up. You have the young quarterbacks, the youth movement in the AFC, while you got the old heads in the NFC. That's just unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that as long as I've been watching football. So this is definitely going to be a great breakdown of all these matchups. I'm going to give you my keys to the game for each team in both the NFC and AFC divisional playoff games. Hey, what's up, Max? How you doing? I'm doing good, man. How you doing? Oh boy. Well, tonight I'm gonna be rubbing on some of these Tostitos scoops. About to pour myself some now in this bowl. They will come on out. Also, I have the salsa queso here. Salsa con queso here. Miss Elaine, you said I'm okay. That's good. Max, you said I'm okay. Looking forward to this weekend's games. Definitely. You only got 2 more days, so you don't have to wait too much longer, Max. Matter of fact, for those that are here watching the live stream, which game or games you're most anxious to see this weekend? Let me know in the chat. Which games are you looking forward to? Now, you definitely got some great matchups here. You got the vaunted Rams defense going up against Aaron Rodgers and that high-powered Packers offense. Okay, Max, you said Saints and Bucks. All right. Miss Elaine, you said the Browns and the Chiefs. Max said, I hope the Browns win. Me too. Yes, you definitely got Baker and the Browns going in the Arrowhead, taking on the defending Super Bowl champs, the Chiefs. You got Baker and Mahomes. Then you got Lamar and Josh Allen going at it as the Ravens travel to Buffalo, take on the Bills. So these definitely going to be some fun matchups to break down and talk about. Ooh. Y'all gotta excuse me. But besides the Browns and the Chiefs, I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup between Brees and Tom Brady. Now, as we all know, Saints won both games against the Bucks during the regular season. So can third time be the charm for Tom Brady and he knocks off Drew Brees and the Saints? Hey, Monet, how you doing? You said Browns all day. I know that's right. I'm still at the library, Monet. It's an old friend of mine here. These scoops are good. But like I said, we got 4 great matchups, and definitely can't wait to see who comes out on top to play on Championship Sunday. But I just got a feeling that one of these wild card teams, or at least 2 of these wild card teams, are going to advance this weekend. I just got a feeling that maybe 1 or 2 of these top seeds are going to be upsetted in this divisional round. Definitely got a feeling that one of these one or at least 2 of these wild cards are going to advance. Hey man, how you doing? Thanks for joining me. I was about to get into these matchups in a few minutes. Micheline and Matt, hello, how are you? Now, without giving your predictions to everybody that's watching, matter of fact, I'm not going to ask you to do it. But this is what the playoffs are all about, so Matt, you asked me, did Jim Brown, the football player turned actor, say anything about the Browns win? Let me check. As far as I know, he didn't say anything, but I know he probably was definitely proud. Let me let's see somebody else in the chat. What's up, Kobe? How you doing? You said I got Browns versus Packers in the Super Bowl. If the Browns don't win, then I have Packers versus Chiefs. Well, in that first one, from your mouth to God's ear. Okay, Matt, you said I think the Saints, Packers, and the Browns will win. Wow. Well, what about the Bills and the Ravens? Now, never thought I'd say this, but definitely can't wait to see which old heads advance to the NFC Championship game. Wow, definitely can't wait to see which, young dudes advance to the AFC Championship game. Oh, sorry. Micheline at Kobe, hello, how are you? Kobe said, Miss Shalana, good, thanks for asking. School is stressing, but how are you? Okay, Matt, you got the Bills. All right. All right, now it's time to get into these matchups. And I'm going to start with the Packers and Rams. Now, as y'all know, the Rams are coming off of a impressive win against the Seahawks on the road in Super Wild Card weekend last Saturday. Even though they had to basically go to Jared Goff at backup QB because they were keeping him out due to that injured thumb. But they didn't need Goff to be too much of a factor because the Rams defense, as they've been doing all season long, picked up the slack for the most part. They did a great job of getting pressure on Russell Wilson. Also, they got pick six. and cornerback Jalen Ramsey and that Rams secondary did a real good job of frustrating DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Now the Rams did score when they needed to, to basically put the game away. And Robert Woods, he was the man once again, as he's been the man for the Rams in past postseasons. He and Goff definitely delivered the knockout punch to Seattle to seal the game and advance on to play the Packers here in this divisional round. Now, Aaron Donald, he had to leave the game due to a rib injury, but according to sources, that he's going to play Saturday against the Packers. Monet, you said Browns going to win all in. Monet asked me where you at. I'm at my house. Miss Shalane at Kobe, I'm okay. Hang in there. Intelligent Cycle, you said greetings, everyone. This is a good playoff preview Thursday. I was just watching the NBC preview divisional game. It was hilarious. Intelligent Cycle, how's it going, Miss Shalana? What's up, Vince? How you doing? Say, hey, QC, what is going on? Congrats on your Browns, the Bills, Packers, Browns, the Saints. Okay. For wild card, for divisional weekend. Miss Shalane, Intelligent Cycle, hello, how are you? Now, on the flip side to the Packers, they had the first round bye. So, they've been off for the last week or two. But good old Aaron Rodgers, he's still getting it done. As once again, he's had another great season. And as a matter of fact, he is the odds-on favorite to win the MVP this year. During the regular season, the bad man that they call Aaron Rodgers finished with, make sure I get everything right, finished with over 4,000 yards, 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions with an 84 QBR rating, which was first in the NFL. Man, at 37, Aaron Rodgers still getting it done. Also, he's definitely got some weapons to throw it to, such as the wide receiver Devontae Adams. Also, the tight end Robert Tonyan. I hope I said his name right. Aaron Jones, the running back. I definitely think he does not get the credit that he should. He's definitely a talented running back. But I guess that's what happens when when you're playing with Aaron Rodgers. Also, the Packers have a pretty good defense as well that people don't talk about. They definitely can get some pressure on the quarterback. Also, their secondary they can force turnovers. And that's anchored by the veteran linebackers Zadarius Smith. Also, Rashawn Gary, as well as Kamal Martin. That front four can definitely get pressure on the QB, force him to make some mistakes, get some sacks. We'll get y'all to the comment, back to y'all comments in a little bit. Also, they have a pretty nice secondary with the cornerback Kevin King. Also, the safeties Darnell Savage as well as Adrian Amos. You know, those dudes are some ball hawks. They do a pretty good job. King does a pretty nice job of for the most part, containing the other team's best wide receiver. Like I said, this Packers defense does not get the credit that it deserves because their offense is just so doggone potent. But on the flip side, the Rams definitely got talent on offense. You know, they got a real nice offensive line anchored by the veteran Andrew Whitworth. You know, like I said, I mentioned Robert Woods, who definitely has come up big in the last few years in the postseason. Cooper Kupp, also the rookie running back Cam Akers. Also the tight end Tyler Higbee. So this team's definitely got some weapons. Now, my keys to the game for each team. Offensively for the Rams. Now, they may either stick with it looks like they're going back to Jared Goff, basically out of necessity, because they wanted him to at least heal up another week before he came back. But hey, these are the circumstances. You know, Goff definitely has to play smart and clean football. He cannot turn it over against this Packers defense, because once you do, you're giving it back to Aaron Rodgers and that lethal Packers offense. So, you know, Goff definitely has to be smart with his passes. Also, get rid of the ball quickly to Kupp, Woods, or even Akers. Akers has had a few catches, but definitely got also, you know, I forgot to mention the big game Akers had against the Seahawks. Matter of fact, before the first half ended, he had already had over 100 yards, close to 100 yards rushing. That's impressive. That's very impressive. Also, they definitely need to establish the run with Akers as well as Malcolm Brown to set up the pass for the Rams. Now, defensively, it's definitely going to start and end with that man, number 99, Aaron Donald. You know, he in that front seven with Leonard Floyd, Troy Reader, Mekhi Kaiser. They definitely got to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers very early and often, disrupt his timing, his rhythm. You know, once you do that, I mean, he's definitely open to throwing a few picks. So if you can get pressure and get some sacks on him, you definitely limit that Packers offense from continuing their drives and force them to some, you know, long yards behind the sticks, like say 2nd and 17 or 3rd and 12. You know, definitely got to have Aaron Rodgers and the Packers play a long field, because if they get a short field, they're going to score just like that. Now, on the flip side for the Packers, offensively, you know, Aaron Rodgers is definitely going to have to be smart with the football, because Aaron Donald's going to be lurking, all game long. Looking for an opportunity to bust through that real good offensive line and try to get a sack. Also, Jalen Ramsey's going to be very opportunistic, trying to, get a pick. He's definitely going to try, excuse me. Aaron Rodgers definitely going to have to go at Ramsey when he's on Devontae Adams, because that's going to be the matchup all game long for the most part. Also, they have to establish the run with Aaron Jones. because that controls the time of possession. It kills the clock. And that definitely opens up the pass for Aaron Rodgers and the Packers even more. Now, defensively, the Packers definitely got to get pressure on Jared Goff, force him into some turnovers. That way you could give the ball back to the Packers. That gives them more possessions, more drives, more opportunities to score when the defense can come up big and force turnovers. You know, Zadarius Smith along with Christian Kirksey, Gary, they all in that whole front four definitely got to find a way to rush Jared Goff. Also, Kevin King's definitely gonna have to win his matchup against Robert Woods, because that man is too good a receiver to just be balled up like that. Also, they definitely got to cool off Cam Akers, because, man, that man's coming in hot after the game he had against the Seahawks in Super Wild Card Weekend. So they cannot let Akers get off to a good start running the football, because if he does, then that definitely opens up the passing game for Goff and the Rams. Now, here's my prediction. This game is going to be a hard-fought game. You know, you got two real good teams going at it here in this matchup. So, you know, I definitely expect a highly competitive game. You know, Matt LaFleur and Sean McVay are both offensive-minded coaches and very aggressive when it comes to their play calling. So, definitely going to expect a very close game. In my opinion, whichever defense shows up and limits the opposing team's offense is going to win the game. But, you know, as much as I like the Rams, I got to go with the Packers in a close one. Now, like I said, I was going to get to y'all comments. Kobe said I have the Bills, Ravens, Bills, Packers. Well, Ravens and the Bills play each other. So I have to go. All you guys be safe. God bless you too, Kobe. Kobe, keep it up, QC. Thank you. Intelligent Cycle, you said QC, your Browns gonna have their work cut out for them trying to stop KC and Pat Mahomes. Tall order task to limit the amount of touches. Definitely agree on that. What's up, Henry? How you doing? I'm doing good, man. Thanks for joining me. So you got the Browns, the Saints, Packers, and the Bills. Okay, very interesting. Intelligent like you said, Rams and the Packers briefly say Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Morgan Fox got to step up and impose their will on the Packers O-line. Definitely. That O-line for the Packers is too good. They definitely got to impose their will. Definitely got to win that battle at the line of scrimmage. Michelin, Henry, hello, how are you? Intelligent Cycle, you said the Rams offense, you don't know what you'll get out of them, especially at the QB. The only shot they have is to grind the clock. That being said, Packers by 9+ points. Okay. Definitely. They definitely got to grind. The Rams definitely have to grind the clock. They will have to make it a more, how can I put it, more like a physical game, a grind out game. And in my opinion, the Packers definitely don't want to play that type of game. That's a very ugly game to play. And a very physical one too. All right, so I'm about to flip it over to the AFC. This is the nightcap of day one of NFL Divisional NFL divisional weekend. And we got a real good matchup with the Baltimore Ravens as they fly into Buffalo to take on the Bills. Now, the Ravens are definitely coming in hot. They're coming off of a very grind out win against the Tennessee Titans in Super Wild Card weekend. Lamar Jackson finally gets his first playoff win. And we got two quarterbacks from the 2018 NFL draft going at Lamar Jackson, last year's MVP, Josh Allen, who's a candidate for this year's MVP. Thirsty, y'all. Matter of fact, I gotta step away for a few minutes. I'll be right back. Don't go away. My bad, y'all. I'm back. Sorry about that. Now with the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, he rushed for over 1,000 yards once again this season. And that's the first time in history a quarterback has, had 1,000 rushing yards in back-to-back seasons. Now, his far as throwing the ball may not look good. He only finished with over 2,000 yards, 26 passing touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and with a 73.7 QBR rating, which is 7th in the league. Still, that man is bad, especially with his legs. That dude is a handful. You got to game tackle him because one person is not going to be enough. And also, the Ravens offense has picked up a little bit within the last few weeks. Revolves around the running game, and the rookie from Ohio State, J.K. Dobbins, has definitely stepped up in these last few games. He's been a beast. He had a nice game again. He was solid against the Titans. Also, the other running back, Gus Edwards. But Lamar Jackson's go-to guy is the tight end, Mark Andrews. He's definitely underrated in my opinion. He does not get enough the credit that he deserves. Now, the Ravens, they still don't really, Lamar really doesn't go to the wide receivers much. He goes to the tight ends. But he has some solid wide receivers in Devin Duvernay, Miles Boykins, as well as Hollywood Brown. And also the veteran Dez Bryant. But the Ravens, man, their defense is definitely good. They definitely love blitzing, going after the quarterback. Also they do a great job of forcing turnovers. They got a hell of a front seven that's anchored by veterans such as Calais Campbell, Derek Wolfe. Also, you got Brandon Williams, Pernell McPhee. And they also have a nice secondary with the safety, Chuck Clark, as well as Marcus Peters, the cornerback. Then you got Marlon Humphrey on the other side at the other cornerback. Also, I forgot to mention, Matt Judon. He's a nice one. He's a pretty nice linebacker. So the Ravens definitely have a pretty good defense. They were top 10 in forcing turnovers during the regular season. Also, like I said, they definitely love getting pressure on the QB. They were top 10 in sacks also during the regular season. Now, on the flip side, the Bills, man, these dudes have been hot for like the last 6 or 7 weeks. And Josh Allen, he's definitely been playing like an MVP candidate. He's definitely ascended here in his 3rd year. During the regular season, he finished with over 4,000 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions, while having a 81.7 QBR rating, which is 3rd in the league. And man, the main reason why, he has these numbers is thanks to wide receivers like Stephon Diggs, one of the best wide receivers in the game. Also, Cole Beasley, the other wide receiver, who definitely doesn't get his credit. Well, doesn't get the credit he should get. Also, they have a solid tight end in Dawson Knox. Now, the Bills, they really don't go to the run game too much because, like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen can also beat you with his legs as well, and not just his arm. But, the Bills, like I said, they've definitely been hot these last few weeks, and they're coming in very hot, real hot. Now, they definitely had to survive a very close one against the Indianapolis Colts on Wild Card weekend. They were up big. They were up big on the Colts. I thought it was going to be a blowout, but no. Phillip Rivers and the Colts came back and had a chance to win it at the end, but Rivers' Hail Mary was short, and now the Bills are here playing the Ravens here in this AFC Divisional playoff game. Now, also, even though their stats may not wow you, but this Bills defense is pretty talented. It starts with the middle linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, who's also the brother of Chase Edmonds, who plays for the Steelers. Also, Matt Miliano, as well as Ed Olivier, Jerry Hughes, the defensive end, and Tre'Davious White, the cornerback, as well as Micah Hyde, the safety. And I definitely think White does not get the credit that he deserves because he's a pretty talented cornerback. They can definitely get pressure on the QB. Also can force some turnovers as well. So just because their stats may not wow you on paper does not mean that they cannot play. Get a couple more scoops here. Before I give my keys to the game. Ooh. Excuse me. Sounds a little spicy, but it's still good. Now, here are my keys to the game for both teams. Now, for the Ravens, offensively, it's going to start with Lamar Jackson. If he doesn't see anything down the field, he's definitely going to have to extend drives with his legs. Also, he's definitely got to find ways to find his receivers because if he can, that definitely opens up the Ravens offense even more. But they definitely got to get J.K. Dobbins and Edwards going on early and often because the Bills, they definitely are in the middle of the pack when defending the run. So, definitely got to go to Dobbins and Edwards. Plus, if you go to them early and often, that extends drives. Also, it eats the clock up. And you're keeping Josh Allen and that Bills offense on the bench. Now, defensively for the Ravens, they definitely got to get pressure on Allen. They got to keep him in the pocket because, like Lamar, he could definitely extend drives with his legs. Also, They gotta get some turnovers. Definitely gotta get some turnovers. The more turnovers they get, the more opportunities the Ravens offense has to score. Also, whether it's Humphreys or Peters, they definitely got to win the one-on-one battle with Stephon Diggs, because that man's been balling basically all season long. If he's definitely burning Humphrey or Peters, it's gonna be a long game. It's gonna be a long game for that Ravens secondary. Now on the flip side for the Bills, first offensively is all gonna start with Josh Allen. He definitely cannot take sacks against this Ravens front four, because they're just looking to take down a quarterback, especially with dudes like Campbell and Wolf. They make their living off of it. So definitely has to be smart with the football. Like I said, he cannot take sacks. He's definitely got to extend drives with his legs when there's nothing down the field. Excuse me. Also, they definitely have to be aggressive from kickoff to all the way to the end of the game offensively. Definitely going to have to go at Humphrey and Peters, because if you throw away from them, that's an advantage for them. Also, the O-line is definitely going to have to find a way to protect Josh Allen so he can have a clean pocket to throw from. And he's also going to have to find ways to throw in dirty pockets as well, because there are going to be some dirty pockets in this game. But the offensive line for the Bills has definitely got to step up and protect, Allen from monsters like Wolf, Campbell, and also Brandon Williams. Now, defensively, the Bills definitely cannot let Lamar get off to a good start running the ball. They definitely got to keep him in the pocket. Also, when you get pressure on Lamar, there's nothing he can do. So the Bills defense, that front seven's definitely got to get pressure on Lamar very early and often. Move that Ravens offense behind the chains. To see if you can force them into some long fields. And also, once you do get them behind the chains, you got to keep them there, because like we all know, Lamar can definitely make things happen with his legs. So you say if it's like 3rd and 14, you don't want that man running for 15 yards and getting the first down after you basically had him and his offense basically pinned behind the chains. So that would be another thing. Make the Ravens play with a long field. Have them go to almost the length of the field to try to get a score. Because once Lamar gets comfortable, just running down the field, he's hard to stop. And he's going to be a nightmare for that Bills defense. Now, here's my prediction. You got two great young quarterbacks. Both love to run. Also, some pretty good offenses. Now, the Ravens do have a bit more of the advantage on the defensive side of the ball, but this Bills defense isn't a bunch of scrubs either. So this is definitely going to be a highly competitive game. It's going to be a hard-fought game. And I definitely think this could come down to the wire. But, The Bills do have a little. Well, I gotta take the Bills because I definitely like that combo of Allen and Diggs. So I'm taking the Bills at home in a very close one. All right, y'all. I gotta step away for a moment once again. I'll be back with my breakdown of the final two divisional playoff matchups. Don't go away. All right, I'm back, good people. Sorry about that. What's up, Nicholas? How you doing? Thanks for joining me. Michelin Nicholas, hello. How are you? And also, I forgot to mention before I start, if you want to donate to this channel, there are a few ways to do it. You can donate via Super Chat if you're on YouTube while I'm live here tonight, or you can donate via Cash App or PayPal. There's the Cash App cash tag, $ talking in grubbing. And there's the PayPal email, talkingandgrubbing@gmail.com. Any donation you could give, I greatly appreciate it. It helps me keep this channel going. And definitely appreciate the donations I've already received. All right, so we're going to head back to the NFC. And that's this is the NFC South Battle once again between two NFC rivals, two Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Some people have jokingly called this the AARP matchup. I'm talking about the Bucs versus the Saints. Now, as you may all know, the Saints swept the season series against the Bucs, especially when they went into Tampa and just blew out the Bucs on Sunday Night Football. Man, that was just right from the beginning. It was just an annihilation. As Drew Brees and company just dominated the Bucs from start to finish. Now the Bucs, they played a little bit better within these last few weeks. Tom Brady still still showing people that he still got it at 42 years old. During the regular season, he finished with over 4,000 yards, 40 touchdowns, 12 interceptions with a 72.8 QBR rating. That's ninth in the NFL. Now, Drew Brees, his numbers went down a little bit during the regular season from the numbers he put up in the past, but that's due to, being out for a few games with injuries. He finished with almost 3,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions with a 74.6 QBR rating. That's 6th in the NFL. So even in their 40s, these dudes are still, doing their thing. So it's definitely going to be a fun matchup watching these two finally go head to head in the playoffs. We thought we were going to get it a few years ago in the Super Bowl, but unfortunately, the infamous no call definitely, blocked that from happening. And y'all know which infamous call I'm talking about. But, both these teams are pretty talented. Brady, he definitely has some weapons. The receiver, Mike Evans, who's had a career year. Also, the other wide receiver, Chris Godwin. They have a solid run. They have a pretty good running back in Ronald Jones, even though he couldn't play in the wild card game against the Washington football team due to injury. But the veteran Leonard Fournette, he stepped in and had a pretty nice game against Washington. Also, Keyshawn Vaughn, he had to step in at second running back. He had a couple of fumbles in that game. So, definitely was a great moment for him on that stage. Also, the Bucs, even though their numbers may not wow you defensively, even though their numbers may not wow you defensively, they do have some have a pretty solid defense. It's with they got the veteran Ndamukong Suh, also the defensive end, also the other veteran Jason Pierre-Paul, as well as Devin White, the other linebacker, Levante David. Also, they have a pretty solid secondary with the rookie Antoine Winfield Jr., as well as cornerback Sean Murphy Bunting. Make sure I said his last name right. So they definitely have some talent on that defense. Now, we all know what weapons Drew Brees has with the Saints. He has Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, two of the top 10 running back and wide receiver in the NFL. Also, he has some other weapons outside those two. The veteran tight end Jared Cook, who's had a pretty nice year for the Saints. Taysom Hill, the other quarterback, he could definitely break away for a run at fullback. You definitely hate when he's on the field. If you're a defensive coordinator, that man gives you nightmares because, man, that man is so quick and so fast. But also the Saints, they have a pretty good defense as well, as anchored by the defensive end Cameron Jordan. Also, they have the veteran safety Malcolm Jenkins, who's playing his second stint in New Orleans. He was on the Super Bowl team over 10 years ago. They got the linebacking crew in Zach Bond and Demario Davis. Also, they got the cornerback, Marshawn Lattimore, And they definitely got a front four that can pressure the quarterback, get to the quarterback, and definitely force turnovers. And their defense does not get the credit that it deserves. So let's break down the AARP matchup. No, I'm just playing, but seriously, let me give y'all my keys to the game for both teams. Now, with the Bucks on offense, Brady has to come out early, often, be aggressive, get establish Evans and Godwin. Also, if Jones can come back to play, definitely got to establish him in the running game. Or if it's Fournette once again, you got to establish him in the running game. So that way you can keep that Saints defense honest. Also, that will open up the pass more for Brady. And the offensive lines definitely got to give Brady time to throw and also protect him and give him a clean pocket. The more of a clean pocket Brady has to throw, the more opportunity he'll have to get it down the field to receivers like Godwin or Evans. Now, on the flip side for the Bucks defense, the Bucks definitely have to get pressure on Brees. They definitely got to win the line of scrimmage. They cannot they can't let Brees get into a rhythm, because once he does and he's finding Kamara, Thomas, Cook, or even Levontavius Murray, then the Saints are tough to stop. So they got to get pressure on Drew Brees, get some sacks, force a couple of turnovers. If you could do that, then that definitely gives Tom Brady and the Bucks more opportunities to score. So, Sue, Jason Pierre-Paul, David, That front seven is definitely going to have to step up and have a big game. Now, on the flip side for the Saints, of course, it all starts with Drew Brees. They definitely got to get established early and often, especially getting into a rhythm with him, Thomas, and Kamara. But it's definitely going to be about the other players on the Saints that can step on offense, that can step up. Murray, he's going to have to definitely step up to take the pressure off Kamara. Also, Cook is going to have to step up to take pressure off of Drew Brees as well. Because they're definitely going to be keying in on Michael Thomas. Also, definitely got to establish Taysom Hill, because every time that man touches the ball, he just makes magic happen. Now, for the Saints defense, Jordan, Davis, that whole front four is going to have to get to Tom Brady very early and often. If you could get pressure on him, frustrate him, and even get a couple of sacks, then, then you definitely could make it miserable for him. Also, the secondary of the Saints, is going to start with Lattimore as well as Jenkins. They definitely have to win their matchups against Godwin and Evans, because those two are definitely dangerous, and once you get them into a rhythm, they're hard to stop. They are too hard to stop. So you definitely cannot let those two get into a rhythm. And also, Tom Brady will definitely pick them apart if they get into a rhythm. So here's my prediction for this game. Man, you got two division rivals going at it again in the playoffs for the third time. You got two Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Both Super Bowl champions. They have 7 Super Bowl titles between them. Both Super Bowl MVPs, first ballot Hall of Famers unanimously. But it's definitely going to come down to which defense can step up and stop the opposing team's offense. Now, I definitely trust the Saints defense more than the Bucs defense. So I'm going to go with the Saints in a very close one. Matter of fact, I say Saints will win it in overtime, because I definitely think it's going to be that much of a battle. Now, for my final matchup here in the AFC in the divisional playoff is my Cleveland Browns versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Browns, they got their first playoff win since '94 when they went into Heinz Field last Sunday and knocked off the Steelers on Super Wild Card Weekend. Now, Baker Mayfield, he definitely started off the first half of the season a little slow, but
dirt roads to downtown, backyard to black tie.
Y'all gotta excuse me. Sorry about this commercial, y'all.
4 doors, 5 passenger.
Sorry about that. My apologies. Now, as I was saying, Baker Mayfield, he definitely got off to a slow start in the first half of the season, but after the bye week, ever since the bye week, Baker has definitely been playing phenomenal. Now, he only finished with over 3,000 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions with a 72.0 QBR rating, which is 10th in the NFL. But Baker's definitely done a real good job of improving. He's definitely done a lot better since Odell Beckham went out with the torn ACL for the rest of the season. Now, I'm not saying that, the Browns are better without Odell. I'm just saying Baker has played better without Odell. Intelligent Cycle, you said my thoughts on the Ravens. The Ravens, Bills, comes down to Lamar versus Josh Allen. Who will make the big plays down the field? I trust Lamar. I'm going with the Ravens. Okay. Right, Intelligent Cycle, you going with the Ravens. Now, the main reason why Baker has definitely still found a way to play well, despite the fact not having OBJ, is because of Jarvis Landry, who's been his go-to guy since OBJ went out. And Landry, even though the numbers don't show it, Jarvis Landry has played pretty good. In these last few weeks. Also, the other receivers around the Browns have stepped up, such as Kadero Hodge, Rashard Hollywood Higgins, the rookie Donovan Peoples-Jones, and definitely got to give the Browns O-line a lot of credit. That's anchored by the veterans, Jack Conklin, Wyatt Teller, Joe Bitonio, and also the rookie Jedrick Wills has done a pretty good job as well of protecting Mayfield. But also, we can't forget about the two-headed monster at running back. That's Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, who are, the best 1-2 punch of running backs the NFL has seen in a long time. Chubb finished with over 1,000 yards and had 12 touchdowns, while Kareem finished with altogether about 10 or 11 touchdowns, rushing and receiving. Now, on the flip side, the Browns, they definitely have issues with their defense, and their numbers definitely may not wow you, but you still have some talent on the defense. You got Myles Garrett, the defensive end, who finished the season with 12 sacks. Also, they're getting back their their Pro Bowl corner, Denzel Ward. He was definitely having an all-pro year before he got injured, and also ended up having to miss time, including the game against the Steelers, due to being tested positive for COVID. But also, you've had guys stepped up in these last few weeks, such as Sione Takitaki, Jacob Phillips, the rookie linebacker. Excuse me. Also, the veteran B.J. Goodson. Okay, Intelligent Cycle. Now the Saints, Bucks prediction might come down towards the hash mark by a battle of inches and turnovers. Who will commit to convert on each possession? The answer is the Saints 28-25 late TD splurge. Okay, you got the Saints, Intelligent Cycle. But although, the Browns have some issues on defense, they definitely can create can find ways to create turnovers. Also, they definitely do a great job of stopping the run, as they were ninth in, during the regular season at stopping the run. Even though they're middle of the pack defensively, they're still a pretty solid defense. Now, on the flip side, to the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, we all know it all starts with Pat Mahomes. He finished the regular season with over 4,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, 6 picks, with a 82.9 QBR rating, which was second in the NFL. Excuse me. We all know the weapons that Mahomes has with Travis Kelce, the tight end, who for like the third straight year, finished with over 1,000 yards receiving. Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins. Also, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the rookie running back. You also got the veteran running back, Le'Veon Bell. Now, the Chiefs, similar to the Browns, their defense is middle of the pack as well. But they definitely got talent. They have, Frank Clark, Chris Jones. Also, Tyrann Mathieu, the strong safety, who I think is underrated. Rashad Breeland. And Kansas City, and defensively, the Chiefs, they don't really get too much. I mean, they blitz, but also they don't create a lot of turnovers. I mean, they create a lot of tip balls, but they don't create a bunch of turnovers. They don't create a bunch of turnovers. And also, they definitely can't stop the run as they finished right at the bottom of the NFL in run defense. Excuse me. So, in some ways, these two teams are similar to each other. Or have some similarities, excuse me. So, here are my keys to the game. Now, starting with the Browns offensively, they definitely have to score, definitely have to put 7 on the board on each possession. Also, definitely got to go to Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb early and often because, like I said, this Chiefs defense cannot stop the run. Also, when you feeding them the ball, that definitely controls the time of possession. Also, you definitely eating up the clock and you keeping Pat Mahomes and that lethal Chiefs offense on the field, and that tires out their defense as well. Also, Baker definitely has to make his throws in the pocket when the opportunity presents itself to guys like Landry, Higgins, Peoples-Jones, Austin Hooper, the tight end. So you could okay. It tells just like you said, I guess Skip Bayless can't use the QBR, his favorite stat line, to diminish Mahomes because he passes with flying colors. He'll find another way to throw him under the bus. But the Browns definitely need to make the running game a factor. You definitely don't want to get into a shootout. You definitely want to practice ball control because when you do that, you definitely can establish the running game, control the clock, have methodical drives, and also you're definitely keeping that Chiefs offense off the field. Now, defensively, you definitely don't want to blitz Pat Mahomes because he is one of the best QBs in throwing the ball from when teams blitz. As a matter of fact, he has a 16-1 touchdown to interception rate when he's being blitzed. So you definitely don't want to blitz him because that's going to make your life miserable and you're going to get burned. So for the Browns defensively, it's going to have to be more zone, man-to-man coverage. The secondary is definitely going to have to be aware of where Hill and Sammy Watkins. I don't appreciate that doggone tweet he said earlier in the week about the Browns, but that's another story. at all times. Also, definitely gonna have to contain Kelsey because that man's a beast. Cleveland native. Cleveland native. That man is a beast. So the DB's gonna have to definitely stay at home on him. And also, definitely cannot let Mahomes. If you got Mahomes, you got to get him down. You cannot let that man evade you, and he goes on a nice long run, and gets the first punches it into the end zone. Hey, Auntie, how you doing? Miss Shalane, the Browns can win. Oh, definitely. Now on the flip side for the Chiefs, they definitely gonna want to get off to an early start. Also, they definitely gonna want to sling it down. Well, Mahomes and company gonna want to sling it down the field because, a running game is solid, but say I'm okay. How are you doing? I'm doing good. I love you too, Auntie. Thank you. Oh, I feel so loved. But they're definitely gonna want to test this Brown secondary. Denzel Ward, he's coming off the COVID list. So is Kevin Johnson. So they definitely gonna want to test the Brown secondary with Hill, Kelsey, Watkins, all those dudes. Also, when necessary, they're gonna put in the run with Edwards-Helaire and Le'Veon Bell. But I definitely think they're gonna want to throw it more than run it. That's just my opinion. Because they definitely want to get off to a quick start, quick, fast, in a hurry. Hopefully try to grab a lead and hope the Browns can play catch up. Now, defensively, they're definitely going to try to get pressure on Baker. Auntie, go Browns. I know that's right. They're definitely going to try to get pressure on Baker. That secondary is going to definitely try to either contain or try to shut down Landry. So other guys such as Peoples-Jones, Higgins, they definitely going to have to step up and keep them honest. Miss Chalet, you said, okay, QC, what is going on? LOL. What you mean? What you mean what's going on? Now on the flip side, the Chiefs definitely don't want to cannot stop the run. But that doesn't mean they're not going to try to contain Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They're definitely going to try to contain those two because they know what threats they are once that ball is handed off from Baker. Auntie said, we got this. Okay. Knocking on wood. But also, I'm definitely interested to see the chess match between Kevin Stefanski, who also didn't coach in the wild card game against the Steelers due to the fact he tested positive for COVID. So definitely want to see the chess match between Kevin Stefanski and Andy Reid. Old versus new. Kevin Stefanski making his playoff debut here in this game, going up against a veteran coach who definitely has deep playoff runs, been to a few Super Bowls, coming off of winning a Super Bowl last year himself. So definitely going to be very interested in the chess match between those two. That's going to be one of the main things I'm going to be looking at throughout this game. So here's my prediction. You know, you got two offenses that can put up points. You know, both are middle of the pack defensively. They got their issues on defense, even though both defenses do have some talent. But I definitely think this is going to be a high-scoring game. This is going to be a very close game coming down to the wire. You know, a lot of people feel that, I mean, if you ask a lot of people nationally, they look at this matchup on paper. In my opinion, it's just my opinion. They only look at the names. Miss Shalana, that's my aunt. Yeah, the lady who said that's my aunt. Yeah, that's my aunt, sweetheart. You just hear me say that. You just heard me say that. I said I love you too, auntie. Yeah, that's my aunt. Yeah, this is my aunt in the chat. But you know, this is gonna be a high scoring game. You know, it's gonna be a close one. Who knows how it may turn out? May have to come down to the wire. May have to come to a defensive stop. Now, some people feel that this is a huge mismatch on paper because they look at, well, this is the Chiefs, you know, the defending Super Bowl champs, you know, best record in the NFL, all this talent. They look at the Browns, who've been bad for so long that, you know, that just, you know, it's just like people just been like, well, the Browns are here because, you know, it's because of COVID, you know, this is so 2020. But nah, this is not such a big excuse me, one-sided matchup as a lot of people think. You know, in my opinion, this Browns team can hang with just about anybody. Definitely can hang with just about anybody. Like I said, they could definitely put up points. Also, you know, they definitely have a pretty good quarterback, some talented receivers, and definitely got two of the best running backs in the NFL. Well, top 10 running backs in the NFL. Excuse me. You know, one of the best, if not the best, O lines in all of football. So this depth. So lost my train of thought for a second. So the Browns definitely can hang with anybody. Bishop Atlanta, okay, for the division. You asked me how do they match up teams in the playoffs. Okay, they match them up by seeds. You know, due to the 7 seed being added last year, one team in each conference gets that first round bye. You already know, but after the wild card, it all depends which teams win. Say, okay, I'm gonna give you a prime example. The Browns, they're a 6 seed. They beat the Steelers, which were a 3 seed. So since the Browns were the lower seed, they have to go to the top seeds, play the top seed in this round. Now, with the Titans and Ravens, say if the Titans would have won. If the Titans would have won, they probably would have played the Bills. Now, if the Steelers would have beat the Browns, then the Steelers would have played the Bills, while the winner of the Ravens and Titans game would have had to play the Chiefs. So that's how they do it. They do it by seeds. So since the Browns were like the second to last seed, that's why they're playing the Chiefs, because they were the 6th seed. Now, if they would have been the 5th seed like Baltimore ended up being, they would be playing the Bills this weekend. So, Miss Shalane, does that explain it, or do you need me to explain more? But like I said, I definitely think this is going to be a competitive game, hard-fought game. And, a lot of people think the Chiefs are going to do it because they're the more well-rested team. They'll be fresher, while the Browns, put all their emotions into beating the Steelers. But in actuality, there's been a lot of times where, teams that had a bye week, it, didn't work out for them. We saw it with matter of fact, the 2006 playoffs is a prime example. The the Chargers and the Ravens have both had the 1 and 2 seeds, in the AFC. Both had first round byes. The Chargers, they ended up getting knocked off by the Patriots, who was a 4th seed. And the Colts went into Baltimore and beat the Ravens. As all y'all know, the Colts ultimately went on to win the Super Bowl. So Mission Lane, you said I got it. Okay. All right. Just making sure. Now, that's a slippery slope because the Chiefs, they haven't played in 20 days. Well, a lot of their core players, excuse me. So sometimes that can help, sometimes it can hurt also because you've been sitting around, you out of rhythm. Well, you can be out of rhythm. While the wild card team, they're in rhythm. They've been playing, and especially if you get a wild card team that had to basically fight their way into the playoffs. Prime example, last year. Look at Tennessee. Tennessee, they had to win all their games to get into the playoffs, which they ultimately did. And, since they had to do that and had to basically play those final, 5 or 6 games like they were playoff games to get in, they were playoff ready. And, they went on the road to knock off the Patriots, then knock off the Ravens, who had the best record in all the NFL. Now, they were up on the Chiefs, and the Chiefs came back, but still, that goes to show you sometimes the wild card team could be more prepared, more ready than the team that was on the bye week because that mindset and that rhythm that they're in, since they had to play all those games to get in, they were already in playoff mode. In some ways, the Browns were already in playoff mode in that final game against the Steelers. They were definitely in playoff mode. So, it translated from that into this game. I mean, well, into the playoff game with the Steelers, my mistake. So, I know people may say I'm crazy, but I think this is going to be the upset. I think the Browns will pull off the upset in Kansas City because they are more in a rhythm. Also, ever since that last game against the Steelers, they've been in playoff mode. And I always have this saying, a team with nothing to lose is more dangerous than a team with everything to gain. Everybody like has been saying, the Browns are playing with house money. Sometimes you don't want to mess with a gambler who's been playing with house money because guess what? He might end up he might end up buying the house with the house money. But that's going to do it for this NFL divisional playoff preview. I enjoy breaking down these matchups. I can't wait to see what happens this weekend. These going to be some great games, some fun games. I can't wait to see which young quarterbacks in the AFC are going to play Championship Sunday. Can't wait to see which old heads are going to play Championship Sunday as well. Mr. Lay, you say yes, the Browns. Yes, most definitely. Knock on wood. But I got to get out of here, y'all. Thank y'all for joining me once again. I thank God for all y'all tuning in, hearing me to talk sports, watching me eat, I feel blessed and honored that all of you just took time out of your night to come hang with me for a minute. I hope I put a smile on your face, joy in your heart. Also, I hope I made your dark days a little bit brighter and made your bright days even brighter than what they were before. So, come join me Saturday afternoon, the start of NFL Divisional playoff weekend. First, we're going to have the Packers and the Rams. Then we're going to have the Bills and the Ravens. Richard Lake said, I am ready for this weekend. All right. Then Sunday, got the Browns and the Chiefs. Then finish it off with the Saints and Buccaneers. So definitely going to be doing the live streams for all 4 of those games. Y'all come and join me. Hang out. And we give our reactions and give our thoughts on the game. So I can't wait to see all these matchups. So until then, y'all have a good one. Love y'all to life. QC out. Y'all have a good night, and be safe.